And the final part of the unit was when we were factoring trinomials. So remember, trinomial, tri means 3. And this is actually when we were working backwards to figure out what is the binomial, what are the couple of binomials that get multiplied together. This is called the factored form. What are the two binomials that produce the final result that we had over here? All right, so when we're thinking about this, we want to think about factor pairs. Factor pairs for the constant term. In other words, usually the last term, the term without a variable. So think about the factor pairs for the constant term. And then think about which factor pair adds or sums to the middle term, or the x term. Not the x squared term, but the x term. So we can use rectangle diagrams and kind of work in reverse in this, or we can just kind of think about factor pairs. I'm going to do both here. So I'm going to look at our rectangle diagram and think about, we're actually trying to figure out what's on the outside of the rectangle diagram in this case. We know a couple pieces from the inside are going to be x squared, and we know it's going to multiply out to negative 16 here. So the harder part then is to figure out what goes in these two boxes. We know on the outside we're going to have x times x to get x squared. So our other two numbers have to multiply to negative 16, but they also have to give us these two terms that sum up to positive 6. So let's think about the factor pairs of negative 16. What multiplies to negative 16? I'm just going to list them. So we have 1 times negative 16, or we have negative 1 times positive 16. So you need to think about that. We have 2 times negative 8, or all these are getting multiplied here, or we have negative 2 times positive 8. We also have negative 4 times positive 4, or we have positive 4 times negative 4, but that's already shown here that we have a positive 4 and we have a negative 4. So those are all our factor pairs that are possible. Now, which one of these factor pairs would also add to positive 6 here? You look at them, hopefully you notice that this is the factor pair that not only multiplies to negative 16, but adds to positive 6. So x minus 2 and x plus 8 will be the factor pairs that go on the outside. Now notice what that gives us here is a negative 2x and a positive 8x. And if we were adding these all up, x squared plus negative 2x plus 8x plus negative 16, I hope you notice that it will get us back to our original expanded or general form. So the factored form that we have here, the one that works, is x minus 2 times x plus 8. So that is called factoring a trinomial. We have turned a trinomial into two binomials, which notice is basically the reverse of what we had done in the previous box over here when we were multiplying things out. So if you need to use a rectangle diagram and kind of work in reverse, if that helps you visualize it, great. If you just like to list out the factor pairs and can think about what multiplies to the last term and what adds to the middle term, that's okay as well.